Most of you have noticed that we don't have children's church today, and this is a little bit different service on Sunday. But after talking with am I not coming out of my own mic there? Okay. Most of you have noticed this isn't a regular service, but after talking to the leadership, both in Vacation Bible School and camp, we decided, probably one of the most important things we can do is let you hear what God has done through the lives of our kids, through the programs here. Church, this is one of the VBS. There was an article today in Kentucky Today that VBS is probably the most well-known outreach ministry in the church here in the United States. And today I want you to get a little bit of a sense of what happened, not only at VBS, but in our camp. During the youth area, Eric and Heather are going to kind of lead us through that. Several of the youth are here, going to share some of their experiences. There'll be some on video as well. And then we're going to transition over to VBS, the reason for the van here. It's a great week, and I'm excited to see what God's going to do today. Eric, give it to you.
Hadley, and I'll be talking about what camp meant to me. It was really a fun time, and so like when you get there, it's kind of pepped up and like you're ready to go. You get in the van, people are hitting the van with pool noodles, like getting packed up and like ready to go. When you get in, it's like you got all this stuff like gaga ball, volleyball, and all that to play with. But it's not just that. You got this preaching to do this, and who preached us was Corey, and he was a very good pastor, and he was he really spoke to me. He had a very good emotional time, and he talked to us about his testimony and how when he was a kid and everything, and I really liked it. And so you would listen to him preach at least 2 times a day, maybe 3, and he would really speak to us. When I want to say I don't really know, but I was saved when I was littler, and it was a really good time. However, I wasn't too sure what it meant, and I was starting to second guess my salvation when I was 10, and I was having trouble understanding what it meant and if I was truly saved or not. And so I was talking to Mom and Dad about it, and I was not the right kid as I was supposed to be. And I talked to God about it, and He led me through it. Camp is a really good time for anybody, new people who don't know how to follow with Christ yet, and people who do. It is a very, very speaking time to people. And like when kids that come to children's church, when they grow up, I really think they'll enjoy it. And it's an amazing time. And one of our youth did get actually saved while they're there. They really enjoyed it. And it's just many people have gotten saved there, and it's a really fun time. And it's not just that. I mean, being God is a great time, but I mean, you can also have like these fun POIs and stuff, and you get to pick out what you would think would be a good, and you have 1 for each day, and it's a really just a fun time. But it's not just about the fun, it's about the gospel that they share and how you can learn truly what God is done for you.
Hello. My name is Olivia, and I'm here to talk about camp, obviously. So, camp meant a lot to me. It was pretty fun, and the worship and prayers that we did were really heartfelt. And at the end, on the last day, the singing and worship was a bunch. And but the best thing about camp to me was the worship. We got to sing and praise the Lord at the same time. My favorite activity was when we went tubing. The boat, after I fell off the tube, it broke down. we had to go get a boat to come pull us. And at high ropes, you had to trust the harness would hold you, like God would catch you when you would fall. But I highly encourage younger children, when they are old enough, to go to camp. And thank you to the people who donated to the cost of camp.
Morning. Like she said, thank you all again for your support. This would not have been possible without y'all. We ended up being able to send every camper for about $40 plus our $75 deposit. It was awesome. So thank you all again. Crossings was awesome. We had, like she said, like Hadley said, we had one saved, and you could definitely see God at work. We had one that said he was going to start coming to our church every once in a while, every week. And it was a really good time. The pastor did an amazing job. And one really big thing he talked about was trusting God in every step you do. And which at the beginning of the year, I'd heard a sermon about that. And I think, well, I do a good job on that, I think. Hear it again and again and again as the year goes by. And I see places, I'm like, okay, yes, I can definitely improve in that. But it was a really good time. I really like the reference he used for trusting God, though, because you have zip lines, and he's like, a bunch of people just like to stand on the zip line on their relationship with God and just stand there and not actually give him control and hang off. They don't want to be uncomfortable. They want to be comfortable in their relationship rather than just give him full control. So I really like that, though, because I feel like a bunch of people can struggle with that. I myself definitely struggle with that. To go on what Hadley said about giving your life to God, but then not knowing what you're doing, I definitely struggled with that when I was little, because I gave my life to God when I was in 2015, when I was 7 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was the same year during VBS, I ran to mom and dad, and I'm like, I'm not saved, bawling in tears. But after a bunch of praying, it was just the devil trying to get me to think that I was not saved. And I think a big reason behind that was the fact that I did not read my Bible. And it took me 5 years to actually start reading my Bible when Dad invited me to a Bible plan and to do that. But I've gotten completely off subject here. Camp, that was an awesome time. A good way of drawing closer to God, and as well as having fun. One thing about it, you're not going to leave without having a fellowship night. Even when rain comes, you're still going to fellowship with her. You're still going to find a way around that. God is definitely with you during this time. It is an amazing time. But thank you all for your support. We could not have done it without y'all.
Maybe? Yes? All right. Cool. Hi, I'm Lucas. Camp was amazing. I've been going for probably this is my 4th year, and it has helped with my relationship with God so much. I got saved when I was like 7, yeah. But going to camp, it has improved it so much. It is done wonders. But it's just been amazing. And I want to touch on a few things. But the sermons were amazing, and yeah, Corey, he was awesome. But the worship was by far my favorite thing there. I don't know, it's just something really connecting whenever you're with so many people and they're going through different things, but y'all are worshiping the same person and God. It is amazing. The small groups are great. They I don't know, they help you connect with other people your age, and you have a leader who is he's younger, around your age, but he just leads you through what the sermons were about during the day, and we just talk over it, and he asks us questions and we answer them. The small groups were amazing. The activities, the POIs, some of y'all them touched on it already, but it's a lot of fun. I had tubing, bazooka ball. It's like paintball, but with foam balls. It's fun. And what was that? I forgot my second one. Or volleyball. Yeah. All of them, I connected with so many people, made new friends. It was awesome. But what's great about it is they connected all the POIs to God and showed you just how to have fun and have fun with God. And but yeah, it was a really, really good time and highly recommend it. Thank you all for letting us go. It was amazing.
My name is Dylan Gertz. I don't come to this church. I went with them. I was invited by Jaden. He's a good friend of mine from co-op. And I went and I had an amazing time. I am the one that he mentioned is going to start coming every other week. And I went and I'm going to say it was amazing. I was only saved about 2 years ago in 2023 after living with problems that I had, and it definitely reinstated a lot of things for me and made me think a lot of new things. And one of the biggest things that stuck out to me was love the person, not the sin. And that's something I can do better on, a lot of people that I know can do better on, and I was just so shown things that I never felt and reinstated things that I had felt before but had gone away. And it's just, the youth pastors were amazing. I went with them only knowing the literal family, and I left feeling like I'd known a lot of them. And it's just, I had an amazing time, and I couldn't have asked for a better group to go with. And I thank you all so much for making us able to go. So just thank you all so much. It was such a great time. The pastor was amazing. Worship was amazing. The POIs were great. Spending time with your friends and learning was just amazing. I had such a good time. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Kristen, and so I was just going to tell you about my experience as a youth leader / chaperone. It was a great time. I thank the Littorals for asking me if I wanted to go. At first I was hesitant, but it was just an awesome experience to be able to worship, number one, the Lord, but then when you get to worship with over 900 other people. They may be with God, they may not be with God, but being able to be with those who love the Lord, and then when you get to be there with your kids is just, I can't put a price on seeing my kids worship the Lord and knowing in my heart that they know who God is and that they are going to go to heaven one day, and just to be able to rejoice that, to know, but knowing that other people in the youth group are going as well, and I get to experience that with them. One of the things that I wanted to just touch on, which of course my Bible's upside down, so can't read upside down. One of the things that Corey with a K, the pastor, touched on was the last night, and the memory verse that he touched on was Matthew 13:44. And the thing he said before he read it, he said, "Is Jesus your ticket or your treasure?" And so the verse says, "The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field." Wow. Like, he didn't want a ticket for heaven. He wanted the treasure of what heaven is. And so Jesus is not the ticket for the show. Like, he is the show. Like, you don't need the ticket. He is your treasure. You know, if he is just your ticket, he's only good on Sundays or when you're at church. He's not ever going to be good unless you have him treasured in your heart. If he is your treasure, you think about him all the time. And another thing that they said near the end was, "Are you satisfied with God?" That's heavy to think about. Are you truly satisfied with where you are in your relationship with God? And that's a hitter for me because, I love God. I do all the things, but am I truly invested? One of the things they said at the beginning of church camp was, are you unconvinced? Are you uncommitted? Are you unashamed? Where are you in life in your walk with God? And so that's something I would like for you all to think about in your walk with the Lord. Where are you in your life? Are you unconvinced? Are you uncommitted, or are you unashamed? I thank you for the opportunity to be able to go to camp and to be able to worship, like I said, and I hope that I get to go again next year because it was an awesome time. We didn't get to do POIs, which are like your points of interest, what you would like to do. My point of interest was riding on a golf cart. That was a highlight. Another one was sitting out where I think we had the best view out of all of the campers is where our dorms were, and you see the lake right behind us, and it's just gorgeous. So every morning you wake up, every night you see it, and it's awesome. But spending time with the kids, we had a thing called TOG, which is Together Alone with God, or Time Alone with God. We made it Together Alone with God because we just didn't want our kids sitting around goofing off or having fun when we should be alone with God. But so it was good because we got to talk with the kids got to talk with us, we got to see where they were in their relationship, and it opened up doors, it opened up our time with each other. So thank you all.
Can you hear me? Oh, all right, fantastic. I made a list. I wrote it big so I didn't have to have my glasses so I could read. I also made a list because I like to ramble. I like to talk a lot, so I wanted to keep it to these key things. My name is Jeremy Joyner, for those of you who don't know me. And contrary to popular belief, as much as I like to talk, I am super nervous standing in front of you. But what I want to talk about, I had 6 key points. But under my thankful category, I wanted to thank you guys for sending the youth camp. It was super important for them to be able to go, and I'm glad that you guys think it's a priority for our youth to go to camp. They had a fantastic time. I had a great time with them. I wanted to thank the Littorals for inviting me. I appreciate that. Eric and I went to school. Heather, we all went to school together, but we haven't been connected in the last several years for this. So for them to reach out to me and want me to go with them was pretty special. I think he was told that I was entertaining. I hope I didn't let him down. In that aspect. I wanted to thank the youth. So a lot of them I hadn't hung out with at all, really. Didn't have a relationship at all with them. And so they treated me like they knew me for the last 30 years. Well, not 30 years. 17 years for some of them. And to camp. So there was three key things that I wrote down for camp. So they were the structure of the camp. You've heard people talk about Corey with a K while we were up here. So that's Corey Cunningham. He's the lead pastor at Hardin Baptist Church. He is fantastic. And then the worship. So they had a group called Heart Song that came down. They're from Cedarville University. They are unbelievable. So they have Spotify. If you have Spotify, you can get on there and listen to them. YouTube. The one song that we listened to after the offering, that's a song that we sang almost every day there. So it was phenomenal. But to go back to the structure, so what we did learn during camp was we have one of us among us in a leadership group that went that has no future in meteorology. And so after they spoke that it was never going to rain again, it rained the entire time we were there. And so, but to tie that in with the structure is even though it rained, they had a plan. I've been involved with a lot of things that when the initial plan fell apart, that was it. There was nothing else. And so they were phenomenal at moving on to the next thing, making sure that there was something else for the kids to do. They did not have a lot of downtime. There was always something going on. Our morning started with breakfast early, bright and early. And then we moved on to what they call small groups and large groups. So the middle schoolers and the high schoolers were together, where they were separate. Middle schoolers were together and high schoolers were together. And then we would meet back for lunch, and then we would have connect time. So they would meet with us and we would talk about what they learned that day. Then we would move on to our points of impact, like they were talking about. They had pontoon boats. They had 4 pontoon boats. They went tubing and that kind of thing. So the kids really had a good time. But there was always something structured for them to do. They weren't just out running wild. So, but our days lasted from 6:30 till about 12:30 at night. So they were long days. Everybody was really. I didn't realize how tired I was till we got back on Sunday, and I was like wiped out. Like it was. I watched all the youth sitting in the pews, and they were just nodding off during church, right? Anyway, had a great time. Corey Cunningham. So again, the lead pastor of Hardin Baptist Church. So he has kids that are 16, 14, 12. So he has kids that are the same age as the kids that we had that were in camp. So not that other folks don't have that experience, but he's living it right now, right? So he understands what all our kids are going through in this time, right? They talked about social media and about how it's a disaster for our youth. But Corey was phenomenal. His sermons were super impactful. Again, the kids talked. They had 2 of those sermons a day from him. So they were a little different. They were super structured during the morning, but then at night it hit everybody. So they also had a slogan for the week, and it was here and now. And it talked about how we live there are 2 here and nows. And so one of those is Adam's fallen here and now. And that if you don't follow Jesus Christ, that here and now will end. It will go away. And then the other here and now is Jesus Christ. And that lasts forever. That here and now will carry us on, and we will not perish. We will have everlasting life. Pretty cool. And then the worship. So Heart Song was, like you could not help but be excited. It was a concert every time you went for worship, And we started that every morning. So we would leave breakfast and we would go have 45 minutes of worship. So you would start your day at a rock concert, basically. And it would get you pumped up, and you would carry on the rest of the day. So it was really, really phenomenal. And I hope that the church will continue to prioritize this for the youth. It's fantastic. So again, thank you all, and I hope you have a great day.
I'm Heather, and we did take the youth, and we had lots of help, and I appreciate that so much. But the youth, y'all made us so proud. Y'all were amazing. Y'all were good influences to everybody, and you just really did a great job. I'm so proud of y'all. Another thing, This is nerve-wracking up here. I have been sweating down there just thinking about getting up here. So these kids for coming up here, awesome job. Kudos to y'all. Yes. Camp was amazing. Everything in my notes down there. Everybody's talked about it. But it was great. The talk time, the time alone with God was so great. These kids, they have some deep thoughts. Oh my goodness. And they really express them. And I just want to thank them so much. And the worship time was amazing. It got you so on fire for God, and it was great. Our golf cart rides were great. Late time was when I got my iced coffee every day, and I enjoyed that. That was great. But I just enjoyed. Thank y'all for donating. Thank you for sponsoring kids. I mean, it was just a great time. So thank you again.
One of the girls couldn't be here, so she sent me a plate.
Hi, my name's Lydia. My favorite part about church camp was getting saved and giving my life to Jesus. You could just feel his love in the air and in my heart. My favorite POI was probably swimming and canoeing because I almost flipped Justice on the canoe. So yeah, that was my favorite. We should definitely go back next year.
That was the girl that accepted Christ. So everybody has pretty much spoken everything. We had a couple get too nervous to speak, but that's fine. But I do want to thank y'all very much for sending us, for us being able to raise the money and y'all's donations. And it's even a donation thing in the offering now where you can give to camp. But I do believe that crossings is very important because the kids, to me, open up more after the last sermon than they do on Wednesday night or Sunday night class. We all get personal and tell what's going on in their life, and things just happen there that on a normal daily basis when you're here in life and everything, that doesn't happen, and it's just really great. And we all need your prayers. These kids go through things, y'all, that you just can't imagine, that I can't imagine that I could ever go through in my lifetime. Like I said, or like they were saying about being saved at a young age, I was saved at 10 years old, but I did not live my life the way I should. I mean, being a preacher's kid, you always want to be the popular person, you know. But these kids go through this kind of thing every day, and they're influenced to stuff that we can't even imagine nowadays, and it's very hard for them. But anyway, as we're together, it is great, and we have a great time. There's nothing about camp that hasn't been said that I could add because they did an awesome job of talking. That's why I wanted to go last. So, but anyway, we really appreciate y'all going, and I would like to for everybody to just pray for us as leaders and pray for the kids for everything they go through, and also like to thank Jeremy and Kristen personally for going and helping. We could not have done it without them, and the kids bonded with them very well right off the bat, and it was just a really good time, and we appreciate it. And if y'all, we said we was going to let the Holy Spirit lead the day, and so if y'all would just pray for us, that would be great. So, and then I think Olivia has a video of camp, and then I guess we're done, correct? Thank y'all very much.
In my bones, take me back to a preacher in a verse where they've seen me at my worst, to the love I had at first. Oh, I wanna go to church. Trying to walk on my own, but I'm wound up lost. Now I'm making my way to the foot of the cross. It's not a trophy for the winners, it's a shelter for the sinners, and it's right where I belong. Take me back to the place that feels like home, to the people I can depend on, to the faith that's in my bones. Take me back to a preacher and a verse where they've seen me at my worst, to the love I had at first.
Okay. Thank you. I'm not good at holding the mic up to my face, so I'm really not sure how to follow that. That was amazing. I am so excited for you guys. That was cool getting to see what you guys got to do, and I know that was just like a little piece of it, so that was awesome. But Bible school. We had Bible school this past week. A lot of you are still exhausted from it. I know I am, but hey, it was well worth it. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped make that possible. We have a video. We're just going to start with that and let you guys kind of see some of what went on during the week.
You know what to do. It's time to put your phone down and raise your attitude. The God who made the birds, sea, sun, and the moon isn't somewhere far away. He is standing in the room. So let it scream, let it shout, let him know what you're about. Keep it moving and grooving. Don't leave a single doubt that today is the day that the Lord has created. Why would I sit around just waiting? Let's have a celebration. It's time to clap our hands and stomp our feet. Let's have a celebration. If you believe that it's time to celebrate. Don't sit there waiting, let's have a celebration. Me, I need less of me. Father, Son, and Spirit, that's who I call G-O-D. I used to be a blind man until you let me see that who the Son sets free, you said it's truly free indeed. So let it scream, let it shout, let them know what you're about. Keep it moving and grooving, don't leave a single doubt that today is the day that the Lord has created. Why would I sit around just waiting? Let's have a celebration. It's time to clap our hands and stomp our feet. Let's have a celebration. If you believe that Jesus set you free, it's time to celebrate. Don't sit there waiting, let's have a celebration. It's time to clap our hands and stomp our feet. Let's have a celebration. If you believe that Jesus set you free, it's time to celebrate. Don't sit there waiting, let's have a celebration.
So as you can see, everybody had a lot of fun. Even the adults had fun. I do want to say a special thank you to Jaden Literal. He was gracious enough to be Scout for us for the week. Scout was our mascot. And as you can see, everybody loved him. The adults loved him. Everybody high-fived as they went out the door. He was up here dancing with them. It was a great, great time. I want to say thank you to a few people I know I'm going to miss, so I'm not even going to pretend that I'm getting everybody. Ron Lappin cooked for us on Friday. We always have our hamburgers, hot dogs, snow cones, so Yellow Umbrella was here for that. We had an addition to our water slide this year. We had Calvert City Fire Department brought a truck. Thank you, Trina and Courtney, for thinking about that and having them come out. That was fun. They sprayed me a few times, but I think they got a few of us. I told somebody they were targeting the yellow shirts. So anybody who didn't want to get wet, sorry, you still got wet. But it was fun. We enjoyed it so much. Ray, Tim, Dale, everybody who worked on this, it's amazing. You guys will see this again before it's over with. It will be, it will make another debut before too long. Jean Smith had story time. Thank you very much for that. The kids loved the stories. Adam and Andy did science for us. The kids love the science. They always like science. I'm so glad we were able to bring that into Bible school because it's just fun. All the kids like it, and they love seeing how, all these experiments and stuff still bring you back to God. And, just like the youth was talking about, you need those visuals. You need to understand and see God at work because it's hard sometimes to understand that, especially for the little ones. Thank you to the kitchen crew, all the teachers, all the volunteers, all the people that kept the kids all corralled. That's not an easy job, especially when you got a bunch of little ones up here and they're just all over the place. But they're having fun and they're learning about God. And I'm not going to stop that. They all wanted to come up here on stage, which worked out great because I didn't have to be up here the whole time. But they loved it. You saw some of the pictures from them dancing up here. We did a lot of Forrest Frank. I think that's kind of one of the big things right now. All the kids loved it. All the kids knew a lot of the dances. Some of the youth got up here. Miss Hadley did really good with that. Let's see. We averaged around 30 kids each night, which was awesome. I feel like we were down just a little from the past, but we had so much fun. But with those 30 or so kids, I don't know if you saw it in the background of one of the slides or not, but those kids and those families brought in over $1,400 in their offering. That's great. It was kind of cool because each night, if you've ever been here, we do the buckets. The boys have a bucket, the girls have a bucket. It's always who's going to win? Are the boys ahead or the girls ahead? Well, so we were pretty average starting out, and then the boys' bucket just took the girls out, completely took the girls out. I was in shock because it was a huge jump. Well, we ended up, the girls did win, which I think has kind of been the normal. But guys, this money goes to fill backpacks that go to Eastern Kentucky for kids for Christmas. And it is such an amazing project, and I'm so thankful that you all are a part of that as well. You will all be learning more about that very soon. Just heads up for that, because I know usually we bring other stuff to put in the backpacks, but with the kids bringing that, we're able to fill those with a Bible. The kids made their card, and they made their bookmarks to go with their Bibles in their backpacks, so they did that during craft time. And so they got to put a little piece of themselves in that. And it's just an amazing opportunity. And for the kids to get to do that, I want to say thank you again to everybody who helped, everybody that was involved. If you donated, or let me say, if you let us borrow a few things for the week, you're welcome to take them with you this afternoon or anytime this week. That's fine. We will be taking the stage down. So I know I have some luggage that belongs to other people. I think our stoplight downstairs. But thank you all again very much for a wonderful week. And I look forward to next year.
I would like to say now I'm going to do my 30-minute sermon, but I think that's gone. No, I'm serious. We had an opportunity to talk about this, and Eric, Heather, and Crystal were really excited about the opportunity to share with you, but I am going to share a couple of words with you. If you'll notice on the back of your note sheet, I'm going to fill those in with all the other things I normally would put in there. But I'm going to read a text of scripture from you from John chapter 17. John 17 was Jesus' final prayer with the disciples before he went off to be arrested and eventually crucified. But in that prayer is something I want us to think about. And I want us to think about in the context of what we heard today. These young folks, the little ones all the way up to teenagers. I want us to think about what Jesus said because it applies very much to us. John 17, I'm going to read verses 13 through 21. Then I'm going to give you the short version because I think the short version is sufficient for our task here. John 17, verse 13 through 21. It said, "But now I come to you, and these things I speak in the world, so that they may have my joy made full in themselves." At this point in his prayer, Jesus has gone from asking God to bless the work that he had done to bless his disciples that would follow him. Verse 14, "I've given them your word, and the world has hated them because they are not of the world, even as I'm not of the world. I do not ask you to take them out of the world, but to keep them from the evil one. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them in your truth. Your word is truth. As you sent me to the world, I have also sent them into the world. For their sakes, I sanctify myself, and they themselves may also be sanctified in truth. I do not ask on behalf of these alone, but for those who believe in me through their word, that they may all be one, even as you, Father, and I are in me. Even as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they may also be in us, so that the world may believe that you sent me." This prayer, I think, also speaks to what we need to be doing for these young folks in our church, young folks we speak to. And that first point in your bulletin, one of the things we need to do is something Jesus recognized with his disciples. We need to recognize the threat. I think I have a slide. I can put this up here that will help you. Recognize the threat that they face. A couple of the adults have spoken to it, the things that they're going to experience. They've spent a week being exposed to the things of God with other Christians, both adult and their peers, absorbed in it. But on Monday morning, they're going to go back into that world. They're going to go back into a world that's trying to pressure them away from that. That's going to give them all kinds of alternatives to the things that they heard there. And it's important that we recognize the threat that they face, to pray for them, that the things that they've learned this week, the things they've been exposed to, can continue on, that they'd be surrounded by people that will encourage them and support them. 1 Peter 5:8 tells us that we have an adversary, the devil, that seeks to derail their lives. So as we think about the great things they've done, the great things they've talked about, let's pray for them because that threat is significant in their lives. Second thing I want to do is for us to help them build on what they've learned. Now, some of you will have an opportunity to teach these folks. The youth meet on Wednesday night, and in the summertime, occasionally during the summer, our young kids have Sunday school, but that's a very short amount of time. In camp, they had them all day. At VBS, we had them for 3 hours. But now that that's no longer their experience, we need to help build on that. Parents, you can do that by encouraging them, supporting them in the things that they do. But to both parents and our members who don't have that opportunity, be here, make church a priority for you so that they see that's the pattern. I think many kids learn about their faith and how to live out their faith by watching the adults that claim that faith. So it's so important for us. We're going to build on what they have learned. We need to make that a priority for us as well. To be here, to be supported, be engaged, and be involved, because now we're showing them what it means to live out Christianity, not just as teenagers, but as adults. And then finally, we need to remember this, that one day these young folks are not going to be the young folks there. They're going to grow older. Some of the kids of some of your families, I remember them very little. And now they're growing up. Some of them are getting married. As most of you know, Allie Owen just had a baby. This little teenager that I met is now a mother. That's the way things are going to go. So what we need to remember, what I want us to remember from all this, is that they will be the ones that will influence the next generation. They're going to be the ones that explain Christianity to those that are coming to church for the first time. We need to pray for them that the things that have been built in them will stay strong, that will continue to move on. We do that particularly by being present, being involved, and being engaged. Such an important time. Thank you so much for supporting them. Thank you, youth, for doing it. Thank you for those that spoke. I need to tell you, every time I walk up in the stage, I'm worried about one thing, tripping. So I get it when you come up here, but thank you so much for committing yourself to that. And church, thank you for participating with them, by funding them, by encouraging them, and supporting them. Before I close in prayer, there's a song that the youth have chosen that I want us to sing or to play today, this morning. Go ahead. Do y'all know the words? You can sing to it. Let's stand together. This is not a bad song.
I was buried beneath my shame. Carry that kind of weight.